Not every Disney Channel star can become Zendaya, Zac Efron, or Selena Gomez. Today I'm going to be looking at some Disney Channel stars that you remember but probably haven't seen in anything since you were a kid. Also, I really like all of these actors and actresses. I'm not trying to say these actors are failures or anything, but all of these childhood stars were in plenty of films after Disney Channel, and none of them were really anywhere near as popular as their childhood characters. Hopefully we're just about to watch a bunch of underappreciated bangers. But yeah, let's start out with Mitchell Musso.
I'm Mitchell Musso from Hannah, Montana, and you're watching Disney Channel.
By the way, isn't it weird his name is only spelled with one L? I've known some Mitchells in my life, and it's always been spelled with two L's. Plus, I think it'd look better because of the two S's in Musso, but sorry, this doesn't matter. Mitchell Musso is of course mainly known as Miley Cyrus's friend Oliver from Hannah, Montana. He's also Ashley Tisdale's crush, Jeremy in Phineas and Ferb, and he actually does have a pretty huge role outside of Disney Channel. He was the main character in Monster House, which came out just 3 months after Hannah Montana started. But let's get on to his first attempt at acting after his childhood fame. Sins of Our Youth. Oh my god, I need a jump scare warning just to start this movie. Mitchell Musso is a member of this kind of incel teen friend group. There's not really anything to do with girls, and one of them does have a girlfriend even, but the word incel is just the easiest way to describe them so that you know what I mean. And Mitchell himself is the biggest cringe lord of the group.
All I do is win, no matter.
And he's actually pretty good at acting like one. It's funny to me how many Disney stars seem to feel the need to go all edgy and prove that they're not for a children audience anymore. Like they think we don't understand the concept of growing up. Also, Andre from Victorious is in this movie. But anyways, Mitchell Musso and this friend group are obsessed with guns, and they accidentally shoot a neighbor boy. And the whole movie is basically them in this garage trying to figure out what to do and how to get themselves out of this situation, when Mitchell Musso makes the most convoluted and psychotic escape plan you're probably ever gonna hear.
What if we recorded ourselves? 3 of us confess, leaving one of us out, and then we kill each other until there's only one man standing. Who's ever the last one alive, not only does he get to live, but he gets away with it.
Mitchell Musso must just like bad teen party horror movies, I guess, because The Sand is just another bad one. This one opens up with a really annoying party scene. I hate it when movies have party scenes that don't feel like actual parties. I think in general, this is, I'm not kidding, the dumbest movie I've ever seen. The effects in this movie are horrible. So after they party hard on this beach, they wake up the next morning to the floor is lava, but with the sand obviously, and it only affects human skin, so they can place things around and like walk between areas that way. Like I said, it's just the floor is lava. Honestly, that would be cooler too, like if the sand was so hot it just killed them. But no, for some reason the sand is alive because this egg hatched on it. I hate this, it's so stupid. But anyways, he dies when this happens. And Mitchell Musso's name in this movie is also just Mitch, which reminds me he's also in a couple episodes of King of the Hill, and his character's name is Kurt.
Here's your pom-poms.
So let's just move on to characters. I know I'm going quick, but I'm going to have a lot to say about some of these movies. Like and subscribe too. I hate having to say that, but I'm new to this and I've forgotten to say it in a couple of videos. And I'm telling you, just saying the words like and subscribe actually makes a difference. So yeah, characters. I want to start out with saying young Mitchell Musso is in the start of this movie, and it's actually played by Mitchell Musso's little brother, Mark Musso. Also, this other mascot friend of Mitchell Musso's really reminds me of someone too. I can't quite place it though. And they also have another brother actually, Mason Musso, who's the lead singer of Metro Station, the band with that one emo song, Shake, 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 shake it. Nepo babies are insane. But anyways, I do really like the theme park vibes of this movie, but it's kind of just a boring children-y version of Adventureland starring Jesse Eisenberg. You should definitely just go watch that instead. Yeah, even though this movie is absolutely abysmal, it's kind of hard to feel that critical about about a movie that clearly takes itself so unseriously, but it was still just really annoying and not a very fun movie to watch. I didn't really want to bring up his weight gain in the movie characters because I kind of just felt bad to do that. But now in Bachelor Lions, he's skinny again, so who cares? He now looks exactly like he did back in his Disney Channel days again. This movie is about Mitchell Musso learning to become cool and how to get with girls. Well, that's how it starts, but it gets pretty weird. A lot of the scenes feel super random as Mitchell Musso and his friend are trying to find what they're good at, and they're still trying to get girls in the meantime. But for example, they book some studio time and try to make music with this producer, and this is where the movie goes really downhill. I mean, I was actually kind of laughing unironically at some things during the first 30 minutes or so of the movie.
How about a little Minaj?
Nicki Minaj?
But yeah, starting at this studio scene, everything after it just becomes only unintentionally funny. So Mitchell Musso's buddy goes in the studio and starts beatboxing, and the producer puts this drum pattern over it. And Mitchell's reactions are so funny. And they're both all impressed as this producer just like puts splice loops down.
Yeah, like that. Dude, exactly. You know, then take it down and like hold and be like, bump, dude, hold up.
And then the scene just kind of ends. And randomly, a few scenes later, they're talking about how sick that beat was.
That beat was sick.
So sick.
I had no idea I could do that.
I don't get it. This movie treats it like they're crazy good at making music. So why do they just keep doing other random stuff after this? They try choreographed dancing. And I really think Mitchell's acting kind of got a lot better in this movie. So it really is a shame that this is the last thing he's in. And I will also say, though, it's kind of hard to tell how good he actually is in this when he was so bad in the other movies. But the end of the movie does get a little uncharacteristically dramatic. And the comedic tone from the first half of the movie, with the way the music comes in here.
Huh? How about that f***ing one, yes? You want this?
This still just feels unserious. And then that studio plot point actually becomes what saves the characters during this. When they get caught trying to steal a car, and it's so badly written, I just have to cut some of this up for you to see.
Man, take this gun, shoot these crackers, and let's get drunk.
Yo.
Wait. What the fuck is this?
Yeah, dude, that's his beat. It was made for a rapper. It's dope,
Yo,
dude.
beat, I'm making rap music?
Dude, it's dope.
Damn. I like this.
Ooh, it's that fire, man. Yo, I say we take that song and let these motherfuckers take the car.
So yeah, that was it for Mitchell Musso, sadly. But before I move on real quick, I do also want to say, I found out he was supposed to be Aang in Avatar: The Last Airbender. There's a pilot episode out there somewhere with his voice.
Listen, Kaya, here's the secret to bending.
And it was recorded a few years before the show actually ended up airing. All right, let's move on to Jennifer Stone.
This is Jennifer Stone from Wizards of Waverly Place, and you're watching Disney Channel.
Of course, better known by her stage name, Jay Stone. So even though Jay Stone wasn't a huge movie, Mean Girls 2, that was while Wizards of Waverly Place was still airing. Jay Stone starts off her career just like Mitchell Musso, with some bad, edgy teen horror, Nothing Left to Fear. A movie by the studio Slasher Films, which I assumed was a studio that makes a ton of bad slasher movies, but it's actually Slash's studio. The guitarist from Guns N' Roses. He's only made one other movie and also a TV show with literally 0 ratings on IMDb. I'm definitely gonna have to make a video about that show, I think. Let me know if you want to watch that. But anyways, back to Jay Stone, who is one of the sisters of this family that moves into an isolated house in the middle of a field that's definitely not haunted. The movie's honestly more about the family going to church and meeting the townspeople than any sort of horror stuff.
Oh, so good.
Barry!
Oh, yes. She dies only 25 minutes in. I'm not gonna have to watch the rest of the movie.
Let's just say you're lucky this is all you found.
Lucky.
No, not lucky. This movie literally just has these very lazy looking attempts at being scary, kind of just placed after other scenes. Jay Stone passes out at this party and just casually gets picked up and taken away from it by this creep, and no one notices for some reason. And then she's held prisoner in this cult ceremony room where she's turned into one of those stupid jump scare things from earlier. Then she's just given back to her family by the dude, so we get some really cringe exorcist stuff with her. This scene just seriously reminds me of Nathan For You.
I want all demons out of her spine. Get out, get out, get out, get out, get out. In the name of Jesus Christ, get out.
And then she also does this kind of grudge scene. Really, really bad stuff here. Ugh. She's actually in another Exorcist movie too called High School Possession, but it was a straight to TV movie, so I'm not going to talk about it. Let's go on to The In-Between, which is a road trip movie. And I feel pretty bad about this because the movie is sweet and kind of sad, but I just hated it so much. I'm sorry if for some reason you like this movie and wanted to see me talk about it. It was just so boring. Jay Stone and her friend both have diabetes, and they're taking this road trip together where they stop in Tenaris and Westfall before eventually fighting with each other in this dude's apartment. Neither of these movies so far have had Jay Stone do or say anything really noteworthy enough for me to even point out. I don't think she's a bad actress, but I never really liked Harper at all in Wizards of Waverly Place. And so far, both of these roles she's played could have just been Harper. The only noticeable difference is a lacking of the unique dumbassness that Disney Channel characters tend to have. Alright, Jay Stone's most recent movie is Santa Girl. Obviously a Christmas movie. Feels pretty weird watching a Christmas movie in the summertime.
Just let me sleep. It's summer. I've earned it.
Well, never mind, I guess. This is actually just weirdly perfect. Jay Stone is Santa's daughter, Cassie, and her dad, Santa, is just a CEO. This could actually be a pretty good parody if it was written better. But yeah, this is just not funny. And she's just the spoiled rich CEO's daughter, right? And that's the movie. She goes to the real world and is being forced to marry Jack Frost to keep the Santa Claus lineage alive. Why is Jack Frost so scary? He looks scarier than anything in the horror movies. This movie's fine. The Christmas vibes themselves are pretty good. I'm sure this is a Christmas movie that young girls would generally like. It's pretty much Christmas Enchanted, if you remember that movie. My favorite thing about it was just seeing the boy, Ned's Declassified.
You're kind of weird, huh?
And yeah, that's about it for Jay Stone other than that TV movie. So, on to Jason Dolly.
Hey, I'm Jason Dolly from Good Luck Charlie. Yeah. Oops. And you're watching Disney Channel.
Who was always one of my favorites as a kid. Obviously, I'm sure none of it holds up now, and I'm not gonna go back to find out, but I remember thinking he was super funny on Cory in the House, and I still kinda love Minutemen, actually. I can't help it. It's got Cousin Greg from Succession, which is dope, and the whole movie was also filmed like 10 minutes from where I live. But yeah, Jason Dolly's first movie after Disney Channel fame is Helicopter Mom, where he's this poor high school kid who's too scared to come out of the closet. Meanwhile, his mom circles every aspect of his life, trying to help him come out, and actually just makes his life kind of miserable in the process instead. Eventually, his dad starts joining in too. They set him up with a blind gay date, and it's just kind of messed up. Meredith from The Office is in this movie too, and actually so is Ned's Declassified again.
Come on, you big queen. You don't have to hide in the closet anymore.
Very weird. These videos have taught me how many weird connections and threads can link the most unrelated actors in movies.
Give Dad the 411.
Nobody says 411 anymore, Dad. Let's throw on Disney Channel.
He said the thing. There's actually someone else from Disney Channel in this movie too. Gigi from Wizards of Waverly Place, who unfortunately has a crush on gay Jason Dolly. Yeah, this movie's not really for me, but it's actually pretty good. If it sounds interesting to you or you think you'd relate to it, I'd for sure check it out. I think you'll probably just enjoy it if you like the premise. And if you do want to watch it, go ahead and skip forward like 30 seconds or so, because I'm about to spoil it. In 3, 2, 1. He's not actually gay, or at least he's bi. I guess. It's honestly not super clear, but that's because he doesn't know either. You know, that's kind of the whole point of the movie. And now Staged Killer, which is about a live audience TV show and the host of the show, Naomi, who Jason Dolley was childhood friends with. So now he moves back into town and reconnects with her, and then real quick just sneaks backstage and poisons her co-host. But everything's okay, of course, because everyone loves Jason Dolley and loves that he's back, so they just make him the new co-host. And the TV station's ratings are up 200%. Then Jason Dolley drugs her husband too, and it makes him crash his car, and he barely ends up surviving in the hospital. So the rest of the movie is Jason Dolley trying to kill him before he remembers what happened. He also kills someone else too, and the whole time, just literally no one is sus of Jason Dolley, despite everyone around this famous woman dying the moment this guy shows up. It's so stupid. This is legitimately one of the worst movies I'm going to be looking at today. Sadly, we're already on to Jason Dolley's final movie. And this is also easily, by far, the strangest movie title I've ever heard. Start thinking of the craziest movie title you can right now, because there's no way that it could be weirder than Secret Agent Dingledorf and his trusty dog Splat. Wow. This movie doesn't even have a Wikipedia page. I guess I'll give it to Jason Dolley. He's a really good actor in this movie. I watched the entire thing and didn't know who he was. I assumed he was this clown, but I couldn't tell. So after the movie ended, I went to IMDb. His name is Wingnut. That's all I could find out. Oh, so I rewatched the first, luckily only 10 minutes of the movie when the name Wingnut is said.
Wingnut, sir.
I really thought I was gonna have to rewatch like the whole thing. So I was right. He's this clown. The reason I kept second guessing myself and thinking it wasn't him is because of his voice. I still can't even hear Jason Dolley in it.
Ice cream bars.
But yeah, I'm sick of this movie. I don't want to edit it more, and I don't want to talk about it. It's for kids, and it's kind of nothing. Yeah, it's sad to end it off with Jason Dolley here, but that's not really my fault. So yeah, let's go ahead and go to Raviv Ullman.
Hey, I'm Ricky Ullman, and you're watching Disney Channel.
Better known as Phil of the Future. I'm going to be skipping over The Big Swim and Driftwood because they both came out the same year as the final season of Phil of the Future and were also bigger than anything else he was in after. Let's start with Normal Adolescent Behavior, which might be one of the most uncomfortable I've ever been watching a movie, and that's just because the entire plot is about high schoolers having sex. It's about this group of 6 teenage friends that don't want to get hurt by relationships and hookups, so instead they all have a big open relationship together where they have sex with each other, all of them. And that's it basically. We just go through the drama and power dynamics that arise out of this sex club as the main character starts having feelings for someone outside of it. And of course, this is where Phil of the Future comes in. He's a member of the sex club. Honestly, it's weird because the movie almost works just because of how really good the acting is. All of it. Especially towards the end of the movie when it starts to be more about the character drama and relationships themselves and less about teenage sex. But for sure, because of how good the acting is, I could see a teenager that could relate enjoying it. But seriously, it just made me uncomfortable for the most part. There's also this completely unrelated movie called Havoc, starring Anne Hathaway, and Normal Adolescent Behavior was made just 2 years after and had Havoc 2 slapped onto the end of the title. So I kind of wanted to check it out. Anne Hathaway and her boyfriend and their popular rich white friends all think that they're super hard while going to buy weed from some Mexican gangsters. Her boyfriend is the one that pays, and he gets a smaller bag than he paid for, so he confronts this gangster who then robs him.
You don't know how to fucking act. Fuck him up, man. Yeah, stop. Don't.
Please.
Anne Hathaway decides that she liked the gangster better than her boyfriend.
Nobody does that to me. Come here, give me some sugar.
So the rest of the movie is just her like pursuing this guy. It gets more and more unrealistic and stupid and cringe. And Anne Hathaway also says the N-word a bunch in this movie. It's kind of funny though, because Junie from Spy Kids is in Normal Adolescent Behavior, or Havoc 2, and the rich villain kid from Spy Kids 2 is actually in this movie now. So whatever. Let's just get back on track and check out the rest of Phil of the Future's movies. Next up is Prom Wars. Once again about rich kids. This time in a private school setting instead of a public school. And it's also starring Maybe from Arrested Development. Right now, she might be more recognized from Severance, which is crazy because she's only in one episode. But yeah, Prom Wars. I don't know what kind of wizardry they pulled in this movie or if I'm just tripping, but I swear Phil of the Future and Maybe both look so small in this movie. They both seem younger than they were in the shows they were known for. But anyways, Maybe goes to an all-girls private school and is dating our boy Phil of the Future, who goes to an all-boys private school. He finds out that she slept with a guy from another boys private school, and that's what kicks off this giant three-way feud between all the schools and which boys school deserves to have prom with a girls school, I guess. I really like Phil of the Future and Maybe. They're both good actors, and I thought it was really fun to watch them together in this movie. Seriously, Phil of the Future is kind of great.
Yeah? Well, at least she made me feel like I was worth a damn.
I think Phil of the Future especially deserved bigger roles than he got. I'm not trying to say this is an amazing movie or anything. I didn't think it was that good. It probably would have bored me to tears if I hadn't just watched Havoc, Normal Adolescent Behavior, and Secret Agent Dingledorf and his trusty dog Splat right before this. Actually, it still kind of did bore me to tears, especially in the second half of the movie, where for some reason the wars between the schools first culminate in a tennis match, which just didn't work at all to me, and then a paintball match, which was just so drawn out. I couldn't wait for the movie to end by that point. I really think this should have gone in a more similar direction to that one episode of Blue Mountain State with the warring lacrosse and football teams. If you know, you know. There it is. And the only other good thing about this movie besides its cast is it's got kind of a banging soundtrack too. This time around, it's a little more guilty pleasure, late 2000s, early 2010s pop rock cringe, but it's fun. Your Guardian Angel by Red Jumpsuit Apparatus is even at the end of the movie, which is from like the best emo album ever. So Phil of the Future is Seth Meyers' little brother's little brother, who ends up being the one who finally gives him the sex advice he needed.
All right, listen up.
Just gotta ease her into first and cruise for a while. And then after you hear her go like this,
Just push in the clutch and shift her in a second.
And again, he looks so small and young in this movie. Like he's aging backwards. It's so weird. But this is Phil of the Future's smallest role so far. So let's see if he has a more prominent role in his next movie. The Trouble with Callie actually never officially came out. People have seen this movie. It's been premiered to audiences and there are reviews of it online, but I couldn't find it. Link it to me if you're able to find it because it sounds really interesting. The RZA is in it. So weird. Oh well, let's go on to Phil of the Future's final movie contest. Well, never mind, I guess. This movie was also just impossible for me to find. This time, I have no idea why. It was officially released on Cartoon Network, and there are DVDs of it for sale, but I literally couldn't find anything about it other than it existing and the trailer, basically. Alrighty, let's get on to Debbie Ryan.
I'm Debbie Ryan from Sweet Life on Deck, and you're watching Disney Channel. Oh, wait. That's bad.
And let me say this right off the bat. Debbie Ryan is a little bit of a stretch here. I could totally see her getting bigger and more famous than ever. And also because I'm only looking at movies in this video, let me mention how Debbie Ryan was in this kind of hit TV show called Insatiable in 2018 and 19. So she's an outlier here for sure. Maybe she shouldn't even count, but she is still in a lot of bad movies that no one's ever heard of. So here we go. Starting with Riptide, another goddamn rich kid movie. There's no way anyone could expect me to care about this movie. Debbie Ryan's a New York model who goes to Australia and learns to get along with and appreciate the simple outdoor surfing lifestyle of her Australian family. I'm sorry, I can't do it. I have nothing to say about it, and I didn't even finish the movie. There's like 10 more Debbie Ryan movies, so Cover Versions is about a music festival gone wrong. There we go. This is much more my speed, or at least the premise is. So we're following a band called Star Foxy on the way to this festival, and its members are the lead female vocalist, who by the way was in Taken and isn't a very good actress. Also Drake Bell and Spencer from iCarly, and this other dude. So the night before they play their show, they have a party because they meet these 3 girls. And of course we've got Debbie Ryan. Then there's this girl who I recognize really hard from one iCarly episode. And when you Google the other girl here, all that really comes up is her allegations towards Kanye West. This is such a weird cast. The title Cover Versions is a double entendre, obviously about cover versions of songs, but also because this is a detective story where we're getting each of the 4 band members' different viewpoints of the crime that happened at their party. And that crime, by the way, is Debbie Ryan turning up dead in the pool, which is like the only consistency in all of their stories. It's actually so stupid though. I was getting kind of into it, you know, I was paying attention to the differences between the stories, trying to see if I could work out what happened, which is actually just impossible because we get to Drake Bell's version of the story last, where he says this.
I'll just tell you everything, okay? I'll tell you the truth.
And then we just get all of this stuff about a drug deal that just didn't happen in any of the other stories. And then that doesn't even matter either, because the actual truth is just revealed by security cameras that were planted at the scene. Isn't this like a mystery movie? Where is the fun in that? Next up is Grace, starring the same bad actress girl from the last movie. I thought she did a lot better this time though. If this was all I had seen her in, I would not have called her a bad actress. And Matthew Lillard's also in this movie. That had me excited this movie would be pretty good.
Dad, you're a slick corporate preppy ass lawyer. He moved from New York City, the mecca and hub of the cultural world, to Utah.
But honestly, I could barely sit through it. I'll just say it's about a famous writer who's ungrateful for this girl he hires to clean his house. And then they fall in love. And I promise you, it's even more boring than it sounds. Debbie Ryan and Matthew Lillard themselves were kind of the only interesting things about the movie to me, and they both have pretty small roles. They're each the other 2 main characters' best friends. Debbie Ryan specifically is almost inconsequential. She's just the main girl's best friend, and they have a couple of cringy discussions about what's happening. And Matthew Lillard is actually the bad guy who's scamming the writer out of all of his money.
Not going to his damn birthday.
Oh, and there's also this lady from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. All right, Every Day. Finally, a movie that I kind of liked. Kinda. It's pretty good. The concept is great. It's a romance movie, and the main character is this being, I guess, that wakes up in a different body every day. And one day they wake up as Justice Smith, who's an uncaring boyfriend. By the way, Justice Smith should be way bigger. Like, I know he is well known, but I don't know. I think it just goes to show how fragmented Hollywood has become, how there's not really any new stars anymore. Something that's happening in every medium, not just Hollywood. But yeah, Justice Smith should just be way bigger. He's wonderful. So the romance in this movie is between his girlfriend, who finally gets treated the way she should by Justice Smith, only when this being wakes up inside his body and takes her out on a date. And then they continue to be together despite one of them being a random person every day, sometimes even a girl. It's pretty fun to watch, and the ending is kind of sad and touching too, but there's just a lot of cringe dialogue in this movie.
He also wasn't there on Friday when you met him, or you thought that you met him. No, you actually didn't. What? Today I'm Megan. The day that you met Nathan, I was Nathan. You went to the beach with Justin. I was Justin.
And Debbie Ryan is just the main girl's older sister, another pretty small role. Life of the Party is a loud and annoying Melissa McCarthy movie. Melissa McCarthy gets divorced, so she enrolls in college with her daughter, and of course, as the name suggests, becomes the life of the party. And all these young sorority girls and frat bros just love her, including this one that gets obsessed with her and won't stop texting her, and she keeps sleeping with him. By the way, if this guy looks familiar to you like he did to me, then it might blow your mind who he is, like it did for me. He's actually the other star of Minutemen, along with Jason Dolly and Cousin Greg. Community star Britta is also in this movie, and Debbie Ryan is the villain, basically the school's hot mean girl that everyone's excited to see get knocked down a peg by Melissa McCarthy. And she also gets in a fight with Britta. This is just the worst kind of humor. Every character is just dumb and says random things.
You are my sexual Dumbledore.
Let's go ahead and go on to the movie Horse Girl. And after all of these bad movies, this title alone just made me want to quit right here. Seriously. I thought it was going to be like a movie where Debbie Ryan is a horse girl and was going to fall in love with a horse boy. But thank God it's nothing like that. And I think this movie's actually pretty good. That's kind of just how these videos go. I watch so many bad movies in a row. It's kind of hard to tell if something's genuinely good or just not horrible. At the very least, it's way more interesting than almost anything else we've looked at. Some of it was pretty funny too, I think, especially Debbie Ryan's boyfriend rapping.
I was told I had speech impediment, but now it's speech impediment. Oh girl, where you going? I just want another Jello shot. Yeah, I have the rainbow sprinkles with the cone. Every time I talk, it's a fucking poem.
So Alison Brie is a horse girl, and she's also kind of a weirdo and pretty much spends all of her time rewatching this weirdo show called Purgatory.
Just because I've been watching season 5 of Purgatory where Darren becomes a clone. So that would make sense because Immortal Alchemist like D on Purgatory. Hi.
I'm Darren.
Oh my god. Why didn't you tell me? I can't believe your name is Darren, like Purgatory. Maybe you don't do that. It's like my favorite show. After my mom died, I like rewatched every episode of Purgatory, like every season. I don't think it's a coincidence that your name is Darren.
And her roommate is Debbie Ryan, who tries to hook Horse Girl up with her friends. It's funny to me how back on Disney Channel, Debbie Ryan was originally cast as the dorky country girl for Zack and Cody, and now she's pretty much only cast as like the hot, slutty, popular girl. But anyways, this movie wouldn't be as interesting if that's all it was. Horse Girl starts having these creepy dreams where she's between a man and a woman she's never seen. She starts absolutely losing her mind into some weird conspiracy about being cloned and pyramids and alien satellites, and just goes psychotic, screaming at people, then wakes up naked at her workplace, and then she gets checked in a mental hospital, and to me that's when the movie kind of falls off a cliff, I'm not gonna lie. None of the interesting mystery plots really end up getting wrapped up, because I mean, it really is just that she has mental problems, and the end of the movie is just her trying to work through them, and then she pulls a Kanye West Donda move. I have to say too, I don't know if anyone else is gonna recognize this guy. Probably not from what I know him from, at least, which is Bye Bye Love. One of my absolute favorite bad movies.
How long did you give him this time?
6 months.
A year.
I think they're gonna make it.
That movie's hilarious, and I just have the softest spot ever for it, despite it being so bad. I might have to make a video on it, because it's just so bad, it's so great. So the opening act, this is a movie about stand-up comedians, and I just talked about it in my last video because of one of Joe Rogan's good old funny buddies, Tom Segura. So you can go watch my last video if you want to see me talk about it. It's a good video, even if you don't know anything about Joe Rogan or his friends. And yeah, I appreciate you guys that are still here after subscribing from that video. The one new thing I do have to say about the opening act is that the main character is Debbie Ryan's boyfriend, and was also actually in Life of the Party with Debbie Ryan a couple of years before this. So Night Teeth is pretty much Cyberpunk Twilight, and yeah, it's as bad as it sounds. Our main character is Jarvis Johnson, who is unknowingly chauffeuring around Debbie Ryan and her friend, who are vampires, and they're like trying to take over the city, and the cops are on their side or something. It's just sucked, man. But at least Theon Greyjoy is in this movie. God, this is proof that a great actor can't usually save terrible writing.
That's not how this is going to go. How do I look?
Sydney Sweeney and Megan Fox are in it too. At least Debbie Ryan has a big role in this movie, I guess. She falls in love with Jarvis Johnson and betrays all the other vampires to save him in the lamest ending battle I've ever seen. And next up is Spin Me Round. A lot of these casts today have been super weird, but this might be the craziest one of the video. First of all, it's produced by the Duplass brothers. You may know one of the Duplass brothers, Mark Duplass from Creep, but they also made Horse Girl earlier. And just like Horse Girl, Alison Brie is the star of this movie again. But let me show you some more of this random ass cast. There's Aubrey Plaza, Fred Armisen, the best friend from Get Out, Gabe from The Office, Tim Heidecker, and of course Debbie Ryan, who's not in it very much again. This movie's okay. It's actually pretty weird. It made me laugh a couple of times. It's about these amateur chefs flown into a cooking class in Italy where weird stuff starts happening, and Alison Brie thinks she's stumbled into a murder conspiracy, which then turns out to actually just be a secret orgy, which I'm probably not going to be able to show any of it, but the orgy gets interrupted by a bunch of wild boars literally just flinging naked people around the room. Very weird. So Shortcomings is a movie about an Asian couple where the girl is super political and all about being Asian, and the guy kind of doesn't care about any of it.
It's depressing to see a room full of people lose their minds over a movie just because of representation or whatever.
And eventually finds his stash of exclusively white girl porn. And she kind of just immediately leaves him, telling him she got a scholarship in New York, and he spends the rest of the movie trying to hook up with different white girls. And Debbie Ryan is, of course, one of them. This movie also isn't that bad. I almost always hate romances, but I thought the dialogue, especially in this movie, it just felt pretty natural, whether it was friendly or romantic. And I was honestly pretty interested for most of the movie. Again, though, I have to say, maybe I'm just brain dead after watching awful movies all week long. I feel like these last few Debbie Ryan movies are easily some of the best ones yet. Howdy Neighbor is unfortunately the final Debbie Ryan movie for now. And for some reason, I just was not able to find it. I don't know why. I'm sure it's out there somewhere, but it's kind of actually a Disney Channel reunion of the cast of So Random. So I would have been kind of sad to not be able to watch it if it wasn't also a horror movie. Don't get me wrong, I love horror movies, but there's no way this is good, right?
Wait, are you serious? It's me. Harley, don't answer the door.
Howdy, neighbor.
So finally, I want to talk about Famous, which is an A24 movie that supposedly finished filming last year, but there's seemingly been no word of it since. Who knows really why? But it's starring, obviously, Debbie Ryan, as well as Zac Efron, and the legend himself, Cousin Greg. So that sounds really interesting to me, and I hope it eventually sees the light of day. So there we have it for the stars I've chosen in today's video. I expected Jason Dolley to be the standout, but he was actually probably the worst. Debbie Ryan obviously has the best career. It seems like she's actually kind of on an upward trajectory, even if it's still a little bit low-key. And Phil of the Future was the sleeper pick for sure. I really wish he was still acting in movies today. But like I said, good or not, I'd be happy to see any of these Disney stars thriving today. There's tons more I could talk about. By the way, this video took me way longer than I expected. But yeah, leave a like if you enjoyed yourself. Subscribe if you want to see more of what's coming. Seriously, I appreciate it so much. I was barely over 100 subscribers last time I was talking to this camera, and now I'm about to hit 600. Super sick.